Health Committee meeting to order. Thank you, Mr. Brandon.
You brought Gus's with you?
Could Rebecca,
No,
could you
you
call the roll,
know
please?
it's good.
Sure.
Yeah.
McLaughlin. Beston. Miller. Peto. Robinson. Ward.
Here.
Collins.
Here.
And Lockhart.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Great, thank you, Rebecca. Okay, under previous business, can we get a motion to approve the previous meeting minutes?
Motion.
Made
Second.
by Mr. Peston, second by Mr. Collins, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 2, public hearing on proposed local law number A for 2024, a local law of the County of Albany, New York, amending Chapter 106 of the Albany County Code, setting forth requirements for facilities within Albany County where the local governmental unit identified by New York State is the Albany County Department of Mental Health. And we have the sponsor here. Would you like to join us? Mr. McLean Lane's the sponsor of this. Does anybody have any questions for Ally?
This is just for the public hearing, right?
Yeah. And we'll follow up next. No questions, I guess. We get a motion to move. Motion
Motion.
made by Mr. Ward, second by Mr. Peston, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 3,
Thank
local
you.
law.
Oh,
No, I was gonna just,
yeah, go.
local law number 8 for 2024, local law of the County of Albany, New York, amending Chapter 106 of the Albany County Code, setting forth requirements for facilities within Albany County where the local government unit identified in New York State is the Albany County Department of Health. This one we have
Table
to table by,
A date for public hearing, not yet.
okay.
Or we do, it'll be April 23rd.
Okay, thanks. So pending public hearing on April 23rd, this will be tabled. You don't need a motion for that, right? Okay. Under current business, number 4, authorizing an agreement with the New York State Department of Health, Health Research Incorporated regarding the expanded partner services program. We have Acting Commissioner Mrs. Miller and Ransom Moore. Good evening.
Hi there. If I could just take a second and introduce our new Deputy Health Commissioner, Dr. Iman Simmons. She started a couple weeks ago at the Health Department. We're thrilled to have her on board. She resided in Long Island, is from Long Island, but was in Connecticut working at Yale University, and so we're happy to have her.
I've heard of that.
Is that right?
Welcome. Long Island. Go Bulldogs.
Thank you so much. We are here requesting approval to enter into a contract with New York State DOH for our expanded partner services program. We've had this program for over 10 years. It's just a renewal. The grant provides funding to support individuals living with HIV/AIDS who have been identified as being out of care, and we help to re-engage them into medical care.
Any questions from the committee?
Motion.
Oh, okay,
If no questions.
no questions? Okay. Just seeing we have no, is that a question, Mr. Miller?
No, in a second.
Okay.
Getting ahead of you.
Motion made by Mr. Ward, second by Mr. Miller. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Number 5, authorizing an agreement with the New York State Department of Health, Bureau of Community Environmental Health and Food Protection regarding the lead rental registry program.
Yes, we are here also to request approval to enter into a contract with New York State DOH to accept $4,240,000, which is at $848,000 per year for a 5-year period. This funding will allow us to implement a new lead rental registry for properties in the city. There are specific zip codes it pertains to. Landlords will be required to attest that their property is lead safe every 30 months. The law will go into effect in 2025. And we will come back to this committee. We came to this committee requesting you to approve us to enter into, or to receive the funding. We now have been told we are in receipt, and so we'd like to enter into a contract. We will come back again for, to present our work plan and budget, and that will outline where the money needs to go in the 2024 budget.
Thank you.
Question.
Mr. McLaughlin?
I have a question. Thank you so much. Will the landlords be self-reporting, or will you have a program that goes out to rental properties?
Yeah, so they will have to attest that their home is lead safe. And if I can ask our environmental health director, is it something they can attest to, or do they actually have to have an inspector attest? I know we're not necessarily the inspector, but a private inspector.
So they can attest if they're EPA risk assessors, so they can take a course at Cornell to become risk assessors, and if they want to, they can attest to the health department that there are no lead hazards.
And then we are obligated to go out and assess approximately 10% of the housing stock that attest to ensure that in fact it is the case.
Are there penalties attached to if they don't?
So it'll be very similar penalties that are already currently prescribed under the public health law, and there's some maximum penalties that are built into the public health law, so that way we can perform our duties, and those are $1,000 and up to $2,000.
We're waiting for the official regulations on this. It hasn't been enacted yet, so it's very new. The state's still working on it, and as I said, we'll draft a work plan and budget with the state, so hopefully we'll have more clarity as we move forward.
Thank you.
All set? Mr. Miller?
So, I think it was last month, you guys came to us on lead stuff too. Is this, you're saying that this is tied to that?
Yes,
Okay.
that's correct.
This is just a follow-up from what we did last?
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Question?
Yes.
Question from Mr. Ward.
Have you identified the zip code yet?
Yes, the zip codes are 12202, 06, 08, 09, and 10. So
Okay,
those
all in
five
the city
city
of
zip
Albany
codes,
then.
yes,
Okay,
correct.
thank you.
We can open it up, but at this time, we're starting with just this. Correct, Max?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have any other questions from the committee? Hearing none, can we get a motion to move? Motion made by Mr. Ward, second by Ms. McLaughlin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous. Okay, number 6, authorizing an agreement with the Housing Trust Fund Corporation regarding the Leading in Lead Prevention Pilot Program.
Great. This goes hand in hand. This is a request to enter into a contract with the Housing Trust Fund Corporation to accept $1,136,270 to be used to remediate lead hazards in rental units. And this would allow landlords to apply for funding to be able to fix up their rental property. And again, this is specific to those zip codes that I just mentioned.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from the committee? Question? Patty?
Probably everybody else knows the answer, but I don't, so I'm going to ask. When a person buys property that they're going to rent out, are they required at that point to make sure that it's lead-free?
Yeah, that's a building codes thing.
Okay.
Albany City Building Codes is required to issue a certificate of occupancy before renting out. And we hope to work very closely with them because if they can assist us when they do that initial assessment, then that's one that landlord would not have to either pay privately or rely on us to do that work. It would be already done. So we have had conversations with the city, and we hope to have continued conversations with them to partner on that.
So it's not a law that it has to be lead-free before the rent, not just the city, I mean, in anywhere?
It's not a law, and lead-free's difficult, especially in this particular area.
Right.
Many houses are built
So
before the
old, yeah.
70s, so it has to be lead-safe. And so, I believe it's a city code and a state code that they may differ a little bit
Yeah.
in different cities.
But there's a standard that they
Yes,
have
that's
to meet?
correct,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you, I always wondered about that.
Okay, Ms. Lockhart, Ms. McLaughlin?
Yes, so these funds are for remediation and not for salaries or any personal services.
Right, so the landlords can request up to $40,000. The bulk of the money will go to Albany Community Action Partnership to disseminate out to the landlords. There's a small amount that will cover a percentage of, I believe it's around a half-time position for us to oversee it, and a little bit of funding for them to administer it. But the bulk of the money, almost all of it honestly, is going towards the landlords remediating these properties in these high-risk neighborhoods.
Thank you.
And it's
Mr.
only
Miller?
for landlords, not for homeowners.
I think homeowners would also be eligible, yes.
Mr. Miller, do you have a question?
Yeah, just to, I guess it ties to what we said before too. I know that we've chosen these 5 zip codes. Is that a response to the grant, or is that a choice we made? Because I know there's a lot of, old housing stock, so to speak, in Cohoes and Waterville as well.
Yeah, I
Those
believe
kind of
it was
places.
based on the highest risk neighborhoods.
Highest risk, okay.
Yeah, and, you know, they look at the children that have been exposed to lead and the elevated lead levels and a number of other things, housing stock, as you indicated.
Okay.
Mr. Miller, any other questions from the committee? Can we get a motion to move? Motion by Mr. Ward, second by Mr. Miller, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you,
Thank you
Mr.
so
Moore.
much.
Have a good night.
I see.
We got a motion to adjourn. Mr. Ward, second by Mr. Miller,
Choice,
all in
if I
favor?
had to be like free.
Thank you, everybody.
It's a disclosure.